Oh, it's a giant. That is a giant. So, I'm sure you all saw the recent Bassmasters Classic. Dylan Nutt won scoping a minnow, but not the normal scoping for roamers type of way. Well, there were some roamers, but from what I saw, there were roamers and fish relating to other things, and that's what we're going to talk about today. How to scope with a minnow when the fish are moving up, getting ready to spawn. How you can utilize that minnow to catch those big pre-spawn bass and put yourself a big bag together in the same way that was used to win the Classic. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. We reached 1,000 subscribers. Our next goal is 10,000. Thanks for watching. This is going to be a good one. There we go. There's a real one. Yeah, nice one. Mooch minnow just keeps working. Look at that thing. Big old brown one. That's a big one there. That is a big one. Come on up in here, Spotamus. Yes, sir. Look at that. Running the pattern that won the Classic. Nice one, about 3 pounds. All right guys, so just like in the Classic, a little bit deeper, but that fish was set up kind of loosely. There were 2 of them loosely set up around that stump right there, and they kind of drifted off the stump in the presence of the boat, but we were still able to catch them using the dreaded Sakamata shad today, just because I wanted to rig the bait with the jig head kind of on top, and this is a good bait to do that with, and as you can see, it worked perfectly. All right guys, so today we're talking about shallow scoping, and this is how the Bassmasters Classic was just won. Some roamers, some set up on cover like this point right here, but bank's right there. We're in pretty close proximity to the bank, like Dylan Nutt was in the Classic when he won just the other day or a few weeks ago. And see that bass right there set up on this point? But we're targeting these shallower fish because we're going deeper into the pre-spawn. Let's see if we can get a good shot on that one. There we go. That might be the one I just released. We'll find out here in a second. Let's see here. Yes, that is in fact probably the one that I just released, judging by his reaction. So that's not going to make a very good point as to how the fish are setting up, unless he's just kind of going home, because that's about where I just caught that fish. But it's not your typical out in the wild blue yonder scoping for roamers. You're fishing pre-spawn areas where bass are kind of starting to relate to cover. Getting up into those areas where they might like to spawn, there's a few good spawning banks back through here with pea gravel and little smooth boulders and trees and all sorts of things of that nature. And the fish in this particular lake are set up a little more loosely around the cover because of a lack of current. We don't have a lot of current in this lake, but it's still a similar scenario. The more current you have, the tighter the fish are generally going to hold to cover or the bottom, because they're trying to sit out of the current and wait to ambush their prey. But we're just going along near areas that we think the fish might come up to spawn, and this is a point right here, but it can be a point or trees or boulders or anything of that nature. In the classic, he was targeting all sorts of things that could serve as a current break or somewhere that the fish could set up and ambush prey before they get ready to spawn. And it's working out pretty good today. We're using a couple of different baits, and we're just kind of scoping in and out. We're catching some floaters and we're catching some relating to cover, but we're pretty much in proximity to the bank to where we can see up to basically 0 feet, or in this case the transducer there is about, I don't know, 8-10 inches under the water, because I've got the trolling motor jacked up so I can see further into the shallow depth range. But if you keep yourself to where you can see the bank and you can still see these roamers out here, it's still the same general thing. You're still in proximity to the bank. There's one roaming right there. It's a little bit of a flickery return, but that could be because of the pollen. Let's see if we can get a reaction out of that fish real quick, and we'll continue with what we're talking about. Looks like we hit him pretty good there, and he either did not, oh yeah, that was not a bass. And it is very difficult to tell the species sometimes when you are dealing with pollen in the water. But basically, we're staying in proximity. We've got 100 foot up there at about 1 foot depth, and we can cover everything and see floaters out here, all while staying in the same position. So you're going to want to position yourself about 100 feet off the bank, 80 to 100 feet off the bank, and just find you a break line or an area where you think the bass, or somewhere near the bass, near where the bass are going to spawn, and just kind of slide up and pan left and right. Check the bank. If you see a fish over near the bank, you need to pay attention, because sometimes they're holding really tight to the bottom. But just pan around and you can get the best of both worlds. And not exactly sure, but that's what it looked like to me while I was watching the classic. He was doing something very similar to this, and worked out really good for the dude. Dude's a hammer, don't care what anybody says. He crushed it. He basically destroyed everybody else that was trying to do the same thing, and no one else was actually doing what he did until the last day, when a particular angler pulled in on one of his spots after he'd been in Tellico for the first 2 days. But anyway, 180 to 100 foot off the bank, you want to see all the way up, and you want to look out occasionally, and that is how you can catch bass in the same way that Dylan Nutt won the classic just a few weeks ago. smallmouth. Pre-spawn. That one on the Sakamata too. Not bad. Got him. Oh, it's a giant. That is a giant. Bit it right under the boat. Crazy. Oh, this is a big one. That's a big one, boys and girls. Looks like a 4 or 5 pounder. Great big largemouth. Yes, sir. Come on. Gotcha. That's 5, maybe more. The old mooch. Pre-spawn. Look at that one. Giant. Big one.
When he started that last day, I think he was up on that thing this morning, 100 pounds probably. Which means that to start today, you had about 18 guys that were realistically within that window to have a chance to.
Here we go. Oh, it's a big one. Oh, crap. Big largemouth. Come on. There we go. The big one on the mooch.
We have so much stuff going on at this time of year. You got fishing pre-spawn.
Old Faithful. 4 pounder there. Not bad. I know you guys are probably sick of hearing about and seeing the mooch minnow, but we're still working on them with it. There we go. Nice little wad of them there. It's a good one. You set up on that point right there. That's a big one. Big one. Come on. This one on the old sock. Water's warming up. It's time to start slinging that Sakamata. Nice big brown one. Fishing that classic pattern. There we go. There's another one behind the boat. It feels like a heavy one. Yeah, about the same size as the other ones. That's a good one. Might actually fish a tournament this weekend. We'll see. It's not really a tournament quality fish, but everybody's gonna be out here anyway, so. Nice one. There we go. Another good one. Nice fat largemouth. Come on. Come on with it. Look at that. You think he wanted that mooch minnow? I think he did. He got it. We got him. You got to watch it. Respawn scoping. There we go. There's another good one. Nice one. A fat, well-fed spot. All right, guys, so the setup on the minnow today, we're working with a 5-inch Sakamata shad. I'm not sure what that color is called, but it's like a gizzard shad type color. It was sunny earlier, so that's why I was using that. I had torn the part whenever you insert the jig head into the head, and I went ahead and tried the rigging it on top method, like you've been seeing a lot of people do lately. That's a Queen's Tackle 1/8 ounce tungsten jig head with a 2/0 hook, I do believe that is. It's a 10-pound Seaguar InvizX leader going to 10-pound Berkley X9 braid. That's a Lew's custom light shallow spool. I believe that's a 6:2 to 1 ratio. And this is our beloved St. Croix Legend Tournament 7-1 medium fast. If I could only have one minnow rod for everything, it would be this particular rod. And that's the setup for the Sakamata shad. And for the other fish, we were using the mooch minnow, of course. I believe that's shad color. It's a 3/16 ounce Dirty Jigs guppy head. That is also a 10-pound InvizX fluorocarbon leader. We've got a Shimano Vanford 3000 on a Shimano X-Bride 610 medium solid. It's a extra fast tip. I don't know if you can see that. Just for shaking minnows. It's a really good rod for light minnows. Wouldn't be boat flipping too much with this rod. But that's a Berkley X9 braid on the spool there. And that is our trusty guppy head and mooch minnow setup. And you saw that gigantic largemouth we caught on this. And we also caught some big smallmouth on that Sakamata shad. So both will work at certain times at the same time. But thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers now. We made it to 1,000. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Catch you guys next time. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the content.